What's going on, everybody? I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and you can only see my hands, which means it's time for a Monday unboxing and review. Now, notice I didn't say Microbrand Monday, because we've actually received a media piece from Oris. Now, Oris isn't the largest watchmaker out there, but they're far, far away from being what anyone would consider a microbrand. So, I'm not being paid for this review, and I also want to say that this is not something that Oris is giving me to keep. I have to disclose that at the beginning of this episode. But one thing I'm very excited about is, it's no secret, I'm a big fan of Oris. You know, the Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot Date was one of my favorite everyday watches. And they have a bunch of really cool, somewhat complicated watches with the Atelier series, and then some really tough watches with the Big Crown Pro Pilot series, and then some really nice sports watches with their various divers. But it's very nice to know that a watchmaker you're fond of also has really good people working there. So special thanks to Joanne over at Oris, who actually reached out to my channel and asked if I wanted to review anything from them. And I was like, yeah, could I take a look at well, I'll just give it away. The Cherry Aquis. I requested the Cherry Aquis, and yeah, she immediately was like, okay, yeah, just give me your address. So it's just nice to know that watchmakers you really enjoy are also good people, because there's nothing worse than, like, you know, meeting your heroes and then finding out they're total pieces of trash. But that's not the case with Oris. So again, special thanks to Joanne for making this review possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and tell the time. It is 1:05 p.m. Let's get down to business. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and unbox this. People love when I spend a few moments and talk about the packaging. This says Oris Holstein 1904, kind of your standard textured cardstock outer sleeve. Now this is a media piece, so we see kind of what looks like an oil stain there. But yeah, this has been passed around to a few reviewers before myself. So that was the outer sleeve. We have pretty much the same inner box here. But we really care about this Cherry Aquis. Now we're gonna talk about exactly what color Oris refers to this as, but let's remove the plastic first. And then there is a hang tag we will also get rid of. Okie dokie guys, introducing the Oris Aquis Cherry, as we are calling it, but Oris calls this dial color Sunray Cherry Red. Now, it's pretty much a sunburst kind of crimson. It really plays with the light quite nicely. Let's get up very close and we can see just the sharpness of those applied indexes and how they contrast with that Sunray Cherry Red. So here in this shot, we're really able to see the depth of this crimson red. We can see some darker tones, we can see some kind of middle tones, and then some lighter tones over towards the top of that dial, and some beautiful shadows as that second hand glides by. One thing I want to bring up right off the bat is how perfect it is that they chose a dark date wheel to go along with this crimson red. Again, a white date wheel, I don't think it would be a deal breaker, but it would definitely be a bit more of like an eyesore on the dial. It would be kind of a beacon, and you don't want anything really taking your focus away from this deep red. So having a dark date wheel, a bit understated, it looks very prim and proper. Everything is nice and true, but again, it's there, doesn't look like an afterthought, looks very deliberate and clean. And again, I love that kind of stealthy look of the dark date wheel with that dark deep red dial. So this Oris Aquis date is coming in right around $2,300 US, and what sets this one apart from the other Oris Aquises, aside from this really unique dial color, is actually the case diameter. This is 41.5 millimeters, which is smack dab in the middle of its other offerings, right? So this would be considered the sweet spot when we're looking at the Oris Aquis catalog. Now, along with that 41.5 millimeter case diameter is a 48 millimeter lug to lug and a 12.6 millimeter case thickness. Now, when you get this watch on your wrist, you will find the 41.5 millimeter case diameter truly is the sweet spot, because I think this will fit a multitude of wrists, large or small. For reference, I have a 7.5-inch wrist, and yeah, if you have wrists a bit bigger than mine or a bit smaller than mine, this watch will wear like a dream. Okay, so we can't bring up wearing this watch on the wrist without talking about the bracelet. Now, there's some pros and cons here. We're going to talk about the cons in a moment, but the pros are truly striking. Okay, first of all, the bracelet's incredibly comfortable on the wrist. However, there's something when you get this watch in the metal that is just such a unique design choice that when you see it, it's just so apparent and so pleasing to the eye, and it's the reverse lug finishing. Okay, now this is a media piece. This has been passed around a bit, so there are a few scuffs on the surfaces of the stainless steel case and bracelet, but here's what I mean. Okay, 9 times out of 10, when you get a watch on a bracelet, the center links are polished and then the border links are brushed. They did it backwards. They did it in reverse, okay? So here, in this case, the center links are brushed and the border links are polished. And again, it's kind of a simple design choice, but I think it's so uncommon to my eyes that it's just so pleasing and dynamic to look at. Now, again, one thing I've said a million times on this channel is you got to be careful with polished surfaces on your wristwatches, because they are absolute smudge magnets and they're scuff magnets. Now, that doesn't really bother me because I think you should be comfortable wearing your watches. I think you should enjoy your watches. They're meant to be worn, but just something I thought I'd bring up. Now let's talk about the clasp. Clasp, pretty standard, says Oris there. You have some retention here with the aid of 2 buttons, and then if you need some extra real estate, you have a little sneaky extension. But other than that, pretty standard stuff. But I absolutely love the finishing on this bracelet, but we can already see, you know, fingerprint magnet. So we're gonna get into the cons of this bracelet, but first, let's go ahead and take a look at the side of the case. We can see a signed crown. We can see a tri-split screw head. Kind of, you'd need a quote-unquote proprietary tool. I believe it's similar to the one Nintendo uses on their Game Boys. Don't ask me how I know that, but what is the con of this bracelet? Well, it's that it's an integrated bracelet design, and I know it looks really cool. Integrated bracelets pretty much always look incredibly sleek, just how the case just kind of flows into the bracelet, but it's very limiting, in my opinion. Whenever there is an integrated lug system, it means that you have to only use the proprietary straps and bracelets that this company offers. Now that's fine, because, you know, most people are going to get this watch and just wear it on the bracelet right out of the box. Some people are going to go and get the rubber strap or whatever they offer, and that's all well and good. But, you know, with my watches, for instance, right here, I have my Seiko Tuna. The Seiko Tuna comes with a titanium and stainless steel bracelet, and the bracelet is incredible, right? Very comfortable, has an incredible clasp with that ratcheting diver's extension. But I found that I enjoy wearing this more on this old vintage military strap, and you know, I like to have my options, putting it back on the bracelet or putting it on a different strap. Heck, I've even worn this thing on leather. But when it comes to integrated lug systems, you're kind of at the mercy of whatever this company wants to manufacture for this watch, unless you want to go the custom route. I have buddies that, you know, have custom straps made for their integrated lug watches, and that's fine, but you know, that's just an extra step you need to take. So that's my 2 cents on that topic, and you guys already know kind of how I feel about that. Now, this Oris does utilize a sapphire crystal and no real beveled cut, which is good. So, you know, no sand or grit and grime is going to really gather up in between that crystal and the bezel. Let's go ahead and feel the bezel actuation. Let's line it up to the minute hand. Definite ratcheting sound there. No real play in the bezel at all. So the time teller channel gives this bezel a seal of approval as far as it being an actual, you know, timing instrument. You'd be surprised how many watchmakers don't have, you know, tight, true bezels? A lot of them are kind of just sloppy and have a lot of play. So good job, Oris. So as we flip the watch over, we can take a look at this, I guess, kind of minimally decorated rotor. It really just says Swiss-made Oris High Mech, referring to that 28,800 BPH movement. Very smooth sweep with that second hand, as we've seen. But really the only other decoration is that it has kind of a burgundy colored rotor, which, you know, we have on the Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot series. A ton of Orises have that same rotor. They say it's the Oris Caliber 733 automatic, but really it's just a slightly modified Sellita SW201. So a lot of us have a lot of experience with this movement, excuse me, whether we knew it or not. It's pretty much a workhorse movement at this point, very common, and I definitely trust it. You know, hacking, hand wind, smooth sweep, date complication. I love it. We can see these applied indexes are so sharp, and I absolutely love the mirrored finishing on them. Again, it contrasts so nicely against that Sunray cherry red. The light play is just incredible. We can see the shadows with the second hand. We can see kind of the reflection as it glides over each index. And I just love how dynamic this watch looks. You get something new every time you move it around. Again, just the littlest bit of light totally changes how this watch looks to your eye, and I just love how fun that is. We can really see the border of the date window here. Everything is prim and proper. We see even more of the sharpness coming from those indexes, and not a huge wall of text. You know, it's a little bit out of focus there because we're focusing on the Swiss made, but we see Aquis pressure resistant 300 bar or 300 meters. Let's take a closer look. You know, it seems like I'm always complaining about the font choices these days, but with this Oris, no complaints. And it's not just because I really like Oris. I just think that this is super inoffensive. It looks professional enough, I guess, but it's not over stylized at all either. It's just inoffensive and nice, and not too much. And you know what? Come to think of it, I've never heard anyone actually complain about the Oris font or signage on the dials of their watches, but you know, I suppose there's a first time for everything, so chime in the comment section. Again, I think that this is just enough signage on the dial. I don't think it's too much. Just says Oris. There's no other logo. It's not a logo and font, just font. That's perfectly fine, totally inoffensive and very clear. Again, while I have this watch in my office, I just need to focus in on the finishing. The indexes are almost as impressive as the dial color. I know everyone wants to talk about this new cherry dial color, but it wouldn't be as impressive without the overall finishing of these other details. So yeah. It's just so interesting because there's a definite juxtaposition here. You know, the Oris Aquis is a tough dive watch, 300 meter water resistance rating, stainless steel construction, sapphire crystal, threaded crown, but it's also incredibly refined, incredibly elegant, super sharp and sleek. It's almost offensive to call this a sports watch. Oh yeah, it's lume time. Spec sheet said this watch had a bunch of super luminova, but my Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot didn't have the best lume. Much better than my Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot. Now, I should tell you, I had the first variant of the Oris Big Crown Pro Pilot before they made the indexes a little bit bulkier and they applied better lume. So looks like this watch has the newer rendition of whatever super luminova they're choosing to use. And it looks like they're using it in more efficient ways because this glows a lot better. Heck yeah. You know, I always make a joke, blue lume. Blue lume is notorious for not being as bright as green variants, but this looks pretty dang nice and it works very well with that lovely crimson dial. So guys, after spending an afternoon with this beautiful Oris Aquis date Sunray cherry red, man, I just don't want to give it back. You know, the blue dial variants had my heart initially, and I actually have gone back and forth considering whether or not I want to buy one because it's like, do I want another dive watch? I don't know, they look beautiful though, and no, I don't need another diver. But then you always need another diver. And then, then this comes out, and I get it in my hot little hands, and it mucks my plans up even further, because I have another option here, and I don't know. I mean, it is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. And again, Oris, you may just never see this again. It just might disappear, and I might just hope you forget about it. I'm kidding. Some other reviewer will spend some time with it after me. But I am very thankful that Oris was able to send this out so that I can share it with my viewers. I said it before just a moment ago. This is proof that durability and toughness does not have to come at the expense of elegance and refinement. Oris is still, I would consider, an underdog in the Swiss watchmaking world. They are making a big push with their in-house movements. Definitely, the Pro Pilot X was a huge show of force, but we're getting some really interesting kind of out-of-the-box things with Oris, especially with them experimenting with these various dial colors. But man, this kind of crimson sunburst, it's gorgeous, guys. So I know there's not a whole lot of people out there that have a red dial must-have, like in their watch collecting grail book, like, I absolutely need a red dial watch. But hey guys, if you're looking at one or you're looking for one, this should absolutely be a consideration for you. So guys, again, I can't do any of this stuff without you. What is a channel without a viewer? I really do appreciate you guys, because we just broke past 160,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. I can't even put it into words. I am dumbfounded. I can't believe that we've made it this far, and it's all because of you guys. So thank you. Again, thank you to Oris for sending me this watch, but they wouldn't have sent me this watch without my subscribers. So you guys freaking rock. And special thanks to my channel members. If you want to join the T3 army and become a certified T3 bot, then please click the join button next to the subscribe button. It's essentially YouTube's Patreon. You get some extra content over there, and you get access to that members-only Discord chat. It's $4.99 a month, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Check out the affiliate links in the description below. Check out my personal website, thetimetellershop.com, and I will see you on the next one. All right, guys, stay happy, stay healthy, stay blessed. I'm Jory Goodman, the Time Teller, and always remember, I didn't invent time. I just tell it.